Hi, it's Crystal Woody. Welcome back to my page. Let's get glam right away. We're going to start off with our primer. I love to use the Limelight Must Do. It's a moisturizer and multi-purpose as a primer. It is made with a blend of vegetables and therapeutic oils, which is going to really soak up the skin and absorb our foundation very well. We're going to set our face with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist and use our Morphe Beauty Blender. And I'm going to use the Tarte Amazonian Clay Full Coverage in Fair Sand. This one's quite a bit of a thick consistency. And the Too Faced Born This Way is a little bit on the runnier side, more of a liquid, and that one's a medium to full coverage in the color Porcelain. So mix both of the colors on your sponge and dab it all over your skin. Make sure to dab it into the hairline. We don't want any lines of demarcation. Definitely down in the neckline, all the way down from the chin down to the neck, around our lips. A little bit on our eyes can help as a setting primer for the eyeshadow we're going to use in a little bit. Oh yes, look at, he's a very good example. Dab, 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 pat. See, anyone can do it. It's very, very easy. Oh, you don't like that one? Yes, use the Beauty Blender. That's totally okay too. Whatever sponge you like works. Keep dabbing. Blend it on that chin. Very good. Looking good to me. Next, we're going to use our concealer. I love the Bye Bye Concealer from IT Cosmetics. Mine color is in Light, the lightest one that they make. You want your concealer to be lighter than your actual skin. So I'm using my Morphe sponge. It's damp, remember, from the continuous spray that we used previously. And I'm just patting it underneath the eyes, kind of dabbing it. A little bit down the nose and on your Cupid's bow and my chin. Down by your jawline, because this is going to accentuate the contouring that we're going to be doing a little bit later. So keep dabbing it and blending it until you feel it's blended in really nicely and has a nice soft dewy finish. Alright, let's set our skin with the Dermablend Loose Setting Powder. It's a translucent powder that will match all skin types. We're using our powder brush from Morphe and M462, patting it around our whole entire face to remove all that extra shine to make it a beautiful matte finish that'll allow it to last all day. Alright, let's try a little contouring with the Senegence Blush Scents in Chocolate Cherry. Now, it's a bit of a liquid that I squeezed on a sponge, and I'm using a foundation brush, and I'm just patting it on the skin in a diagonal motion, patting up and down to accentuate a bit of a contouring a little bit below the cheek of the apple and a little bit above the jaw line, right in the middle. Blend it up to the hairline. Alright, now we're going to blend with our Too Faced Nikkie Tutorials bronzer in Chocolate Soleil. We're going to use a fan brush and start blending that liquid Senegence foundation that we applied that was in the Chocolate Cherry, and just blend in that contouring with the bronzer back and forth, up and down, and rotating that fan brush so it's not just in the one angle. Take it up to the hairline to blend it completely and give your cheek area a nice bronzed finish. Back and forth and up and down. Take it into the hairline to blend a little bit up there and some contouring. Then take it down into the jawline, and that's going to make that area stand out. The same spot where we put our concealer up just above it previously. Very soft. Alright, I'm going to do my eyebrows off screen, and I'll put the 3 products that I'm using down below. right, I'm gonna carve out my eyebrows with the Bye Bye concealer that we used earlier from the IT Cosmetics. I'm using a very small foundation brush, or it could be used for a liquid shadow, and we're just dabbing a little bit of that concealer to literally carve out the shape of those eyebrows and accentuate that arch. We want it to have a beautiful high brow effect with a soft finish that looks extra perfect. All right, onto the shadow. The Jaclyn Hill palette is most amazing with some gorgeous colors. The pigments are so strong. Our first color we're using is the MFEO, and we're using a fluffy brush from the Morphe 200. Dab it and pat off the excess. Now this is our transition shade, and it's going to go right into the middle of our eyelid from the crease on up. Not as high as the complete eyebrow, but up to the brow bone. Middle of the eyelid, back and forth, these windshield wiper motions, very soft. Your transition shade should be a little bit darker than your skin color. So this transition shade will vary from skin tone to skin tone. Next is going to be a little bit of a darker shade with a tapered brush. Tap it off. It's the Morphe M139 brush, and the color we're using from the Jaclyn Hill palette is Pukey. What a lovely name. So this one's going in the middle of the crease and kind of creating your soft V. See, that tapered brush allows a little bit more control of that darker shade. Keep blending it in, back and forth. Don't take the dark color all the way to the inner eye. It's just the outer eye. Next, we're going to use our Dermablend powder we used previously with our Morphe sponge. Dab it underneath the eye. This is going to be a form of baking and also catch the loose, dark shades that will be falling from the shadow so that it will not stain our skin elsewhere. Now, our darkest color we're going to be working with is from the palette as well, and that is called Chip. We're using a pencil brush, which is a very small tapered brush. Trying to find the location. Oh, that is dark. A lot darker than I had expected it to be. I don't know if I didn't tap enough of the excess off, but this is real life. I can see there's already a little bit of an error from the placement. I didn't expect it to be that dark. And you can see as well, it's not as straight of a line as I'd like, and it already blended down a little bit more than I wanted it. But this is real life. That's what I'm talking to you about. You're going to do a makeup application, and even as a makeup artist, we're going to make mistakes. But you can always work very hard at blending it. That's why you start in soft motions. Just keep blending it. So I'm taking it a little bit lower to the lash line than I had originally expected, but that's going to help that area that I didn't like how dark it got, and I didn't like the placement of it kind of by mistake. We're going to make it look real nice. So do the same thing to the other eye. So we're expecting it on this side now. So this eye, I'm hoping, comes out a little bit better, and we can correct the other side to match this one a little bit better. So those soft feather motions seem to give a more blendable effect. So this one's carving out that V. It's your corner V, they call it. Go back to our fluffy brush that we used first and our transition shade. That's going to help blend some of that dark shade and that medium shade to the lightest shade that we're using, again, the MFEO color. All right, I'm taking it back old school to the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This one's in a goldish shade. I'm using that small foundation brush that we used on the eyebrows earlier, and I'm blending the corner of the eye inward a little bit with that primer. It's going to help our last shimmer shade adhere quite a bit better. A lot of times the shimmer shadows don't stick that well to the skin, so you're going to need to get it wet or use a primer like that, or sometimes just your finger helps apply it quite a bit better. Something from the skin to skin works better than the actual brushes. Tap off that excess and dab it on that area that we just applied that goldish shimmer primer to. That looks nice. Oh, our pink shimmer color is in the color Faint, and I'm using a flat shadow brush from Morphe in M166. All right, we're going to use a powder brush to dust off that baking that we let settle into our skin. Look how nice that came off with no dark debris on our skin beneath the eyes, and it carved out a nice sharp line from where the shadow is. We're going to go back to that fluffy brush and that transition shade. Such a common way to apply eyeshadow is by continuously layering it. So we're using that fluffy brush to blend in a little bit of that neutral shade down on the under eye from corner to corner. Next is that flat liner brush. It's from the Morphe Gold Collection Y21. We're going to use it as if it was an eyeliner pencil. Dab it in that dark color that we used earlier, chip, and carve out the outside liner. Onto the blush, the Too Faced Love Flush Funfetti, a blush brush. Use your apples of your cheeks and blend it upward very softly on both sides. I like this blush color because it's a pink, peach, and coral all combined in one. Back to a Morphe palette. This is their highlighter palette. They don't have any names, but we are going to use the third one to the far right in a yellowish gold, back to the flat shadow brush that we used earlier on our pink shimmer color, and carve out underneath the highest part of that brow bone and make that gold shimmer stand out really nicely. And our fluffy brush, and the second row middle, still a yellowish gold, but this one has a little bit more shimmer. So this is going to be our highlighter on our cheekbones, a little bit on the nose, our Cupid's bow. Basically the shimmer for the face. Kind of like Rudolph, but shimmery and not red. Cupid's bow makes those lips stand out. Perfect. Some Morphe lashes in Sunset Boulevard in black. I added liquid eyeliner as well. I'll put on the comments below which one I used. I had a thicker line. Let's finish with some Morphe lip stain in Jealousy and carve out those lips. You can make them a little bit bigger than your natural line. That gives a huge glamorous effect to the look we're trying to go with. This lipstick stays on pretty well. I like the color and I like the stain. Is it completely kiss proof? No, but it'll last all night. What do we think? Well, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again.